after many hours of work and another tire change. This is what I'm driving for a while. This thing's pretty fun. Got a little bit of battery life left here, so I'm just kind of messing around on the bench for a minute, just kind of doing a little show-off video. I put these Patagonias on to see how they would compare to those Power Hobby tires. Much softer compound from RC four-wheel drive, that's for sure. Traction in a different way. Traction because these are softer and they're allowed to grapple more. How's that servo glitch treating you? Yeah. I'm not exactly sure if that's 3S or if that's a servo just about ready to go. This truck's essentially about brand new. It's only been run outside just a little bit, but that servo definitely seems to have a bit of a problem. And so I've gotten another one coming, and hopefully that kind of fixes things a little bit. But let me pop up the front end a little bit and show you underneath here. So when these arrive from the factory, at least is what I can assume, that the guy that I bought this from didn't actually do any work to this thing. This is actually this point of the drag, not drag, like the pad and hard bar is mounted on this shock over here, and then this bracket is mounted on this side. So it makes a bit of an X pattern. And you can't really do anything with the front end. It honestly totally limits the travel on both sides when it's set up that way. So what I ended up doing, it took me a couple days to sort of figure it out. I took this off entirely and tried to drive it like that, and it wasn't going to work. So then what I did was, like I said, I just mounted this side of the panhard over here with this shock, because it comes with a really long screw that goes through both pieces, as well as the mounting bracket for the axle. And then moved the top side of it from there over to here, and then mounted it that way. And now you have like this parallel traveling motion. And of course, if you watch too, drag link makes no contact at any point. Even up at the very top of here, it still doesn't make any contact. So it doesn't hinder in any way, and it just sneaks right below it. So it almost tells me it was really designed to be set up this way and not the way that it showed up. So if anybody has one, which I know really probably nobody does, let me zoom in here. So again, just to kind of point at this, this was mounted over on this side, and then this was swapped over to here. There's a tiny little bracket that mounts right up next to where the shock's at. And so after moving a couple parts around and getting a much better idea of how this is supposed to function, it definitely runs a lot better now. Sounds like my neighbor's home. There's Harley. We subdivided our property and sold off a few acres, and the guy that built next to us is into all the stuff. He got himself a nice 40-foot mobile home, and he carries a big Harley trailer behind and goes and does all his Harley stuff on weekends. So anyway, this truck is just super fun. I think it's a gorgeous build. I can't wait to run it some more. Can't wait to get some more upgrades for it. Basically going to run brushless in it, and like I said, found a little bit stronger servo from Banggood. So I just got notification that is on its way. You'll also see too that like when you pick it up, I've got a ton of spring loaded into the back end. This is a heavy truck, and so it needs everything I think that it's got in order to keep it, one, from binding up in a lot of turns. So I lifted it a tad, and then also too, it just seems like it wants that kind of travel in the back in order to be able to keep things level, keep things looking all right. And then two, it seems to counteract a lot of the torque twist. So if you can see that, again, that tiny little motor still has like a bunch of torque twist in it. Sorry about hitting the camera, but with the extra spring tension in there, it helps a lot. So what else can I say about this thing? yeah, the pan hard bar, if you have one, fix that problem. The other thing is get some different shocks. You're going to have to use the ball ends out of the factory shocks. These are just essentially two-stage, the double barrel shocks, and so the ball ends from the factory shocks fit in those. And make sure you lubricate really well. I used the silver springs on these to make sure that I still had some decent travel and rebound. A bunch of preload worked into the rear end, a tiny little bit up front. You'll also have to ditch the original hub setup that comes with these and have to go to a 7mm hex, but that's set up with pins. So you've seen how it crawls so far. I think it's doing pretty well. I think it could do a little bit better if I had a little bit more horsepower. It feels really light under, it feels heavy overall if you lift the truck itself, but underneath the tires, it's pretty light. It feels like it's capable, like it's able to handle its own weight pretty well. And I've been pretty happy with it so far, I'd say. I've also put a couple of good scratches on it. I'm looking forward to putting some more. Will I weather this or anything? I don't know. I think I'm just going to let it weather naturally and get all beat up and stuff like that and just kind of do its own thing. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I wouldn't mind getting a roll bar for it, though. A roll bar would not be bad. I don't think it needs a brush bar up front or a bull bar or anything like that, and it certainly doesn't need any less of a descent angle than what it has. It hangs up enough as it is, so probably going to leave the back end just the way it is. I am still actively looking for a driver to be sitting in there, possibly a driver and a passenger. Maybe a driver and a passenger wouldn't be a bad idea. I've found some stuff on eBay. I have not placed the order yet. The only thing I could really find are like the older couples or like 50s style couples, so we'll see what ends up coming up with. But yeah, I'm going to end up doing something about that. Anyway, enough of my rambling. Thanks for watching. Hope you like this truck. I certainly do. Yeah, it's the new one to the fleet. Make this number 28, 29. I think this is 29. So, yeah, I like it. I had no intention of ever buying one until I found a good deal on Facebook Marketplace. And I just even was asking the guy, I was like, is that pretty firm, or, is there anything we can do on that? And, the price was firm, but, these are kind of like, I don't know, I almost want to say it's a once in a lifetime chance. You just don't see these things anywhere. They've been discontinued, and especially for the price that you might end up paying, I think it was worth it to just go ahead and make that choice. It just almost got a mosquito. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm gonna get off the camera here before I get eaten alive with mosquitoes. Take it easy. We'll see you on the next one.